Welcome to the Eastbourne Rovers Ronhill Mile Night, where myself and my two brothers will be taking on our first ever track race. The youngest brother, oh hello W Mills here, going for a 5 minutes 20. D Mills sliding in the DMs here, going for a slightly more ambitious 5 minutes 10. And here I am myself, it's J Mills with the lofty goal of going sub 5, a 4 minute 50. With us all in separate heats based on our estimated time, we've got 3 races for you installed. Let's get straight to the action, and we're going to start off with D Mills. And here we have D Mills. You can just about spot him on the right in that yellow top, and we are away.
And they're off on paces. Brian Brett will be going at 5:05 and Eleanor will be going at 5:20.
You can hear there from the PA that the front pacer will be going off at 5 minutes 5 pace, while the other female pacer, a slightly slower 5 minutes 20. D Mills going for a 5 minutes 10, a bit in the middle, so who's he going to stick with? At the moment, it looks like he's taking it nice and cautiously, and he's hanging around the back of the pack. You can see him checking his watch there. It's probably not going to be that accurate running around a track. And as we're approaching 200 metres, it looks like the first pacer has not got anyone going with him for a 5 minutes 5, and everyone is settled in close to that 5 minute 20 pace as we head into direct sunlight. Emerging out of the sunlight now, and it looks like so far maybe a tactical race going on. Very congregated up there. D Mills coming past now. He's in the third lane. But he looks pretty comfortable as he comes through in around 6th or 7th place currently. And now we can see what he goes through the first lap in about 1 minute 18. And that is on pace for about a 5 minute 15. So D Mills is perfectly on pace for what he was aiming for. But it looks like he's very comfortable at the moment in the middle of this pack. Approaching 600 metres, and it looks like potentially the pack is spreading out somewhat. D Mills wants to make sure he gets himself a little bit closer to the pacer, as there's a tiny little gap of a metre or so that he won't want to see grow any bigger. We see the first big move of the race though now, approaching the end of the second lap, and the lead girl has decided she is breaking away from the pack and is going to latch onto the back of the quicker pacer. D Mills has decided that's not for him, and he's going to stick to the slower pacer for now. And he goes through the second lap, and it's an 80-second lap this time. It has dropped somewhat. Potentially that's why the lead girl broke away, but that's exactly the pace that the pacer said she was going to do. 80-second laps is bang on 5 minute 20 mile pace. And with the pacers both pulled off, it's now down to these runners themselves to see if they can catch the girl out in front. But as you can see, she's not currently on the screen. And if anything, I would say that pace is slowing. This chase pack appears to be bunching up again, and it looks like everyone's just getting ready for an all-out final 400 meter sprint. As I pan to the leader, and she is gone unless something miraculous happens. I think D Mills can only hope for P2 now. The leader flashes past there, a good 10 seconds or so ahead, and D Mills is still just in this little pack, biding his time maybe, but he's looking a little bit worse for wear. The head is starting to Paula Radcliffe, ladies and gentlemen. And I'd be surprised if this third lap hadn't slowed dramatically. Let's have a little bit of a look. He goes through on 4 minutes, meaning it was a 1 minute 22 lap, so it had indeed slowed. And we need a big lap here to get a 5 minute 10 from D Mills. It's going to have to be probably around 70 seconds. And it looks like the lead 4 are potentially breaking away from D Mills. This is very uncharacteristic. But as long as that gap doesn't grow too much, I still believe he should be able to have a final kick in the final 100 metres. And it does look like he's slowly reeling them in, but it's actually the fourth girl that's just dropping back a little bit here. The lead girl of this group looks like she's extended her stride quite a lot and is going for an early push. Will she regret that come the home straight? And here's a lovely shot of D Mills at the back of this pack of 5 runners around the final bend. What has he got left with less than 200 metres to go? Is there any potential that he could summon that inner dog and go for a podium here? Go on, D Mills, give me that signature kick. And he swings out wide into lane 2. The drive for home is here. Go on, D Mills. Give it everything. And he's moving up. He's got 1. He's got 2. Can he get third? That's Ed just ahead of him. Go on, D Mills. Podium's on offer there. Can you get there? Not quite. 5 minutes 14 for D Mills. It's P4. They all had massively stepped it up in that final lap. A 74 seconds. It was a tactical affair. And D Mills finishes only 4 seconds off what he was aiming for. So he'll be relatively happy, but he'll never know if he would have matched the move of the lead girl, who in the end finished in a 5 minutes 9, maybe he could have got a little bit closer to that goal pace, but it also would have hurt even more. But we are straight into race 2, and it's W Mills here, going out for a 5 minutes 20, which, yes, was the slowest aim of the brothers, but was probably overall the most loftiest goal, considering his 5k PB is 2 minutes off Damo's and mine. His is a 19:30 versus a 17:30. But W Mills is a sprint specialist, so he says, and although you can't sprint a mile, it certainly should favour him. So let's see what he can get done today.
And they're off. Our pacer is Brian Brett, who's going out at 5:20 pace.
The announcer doing my job for me, they are away, and look at W Mills, straight to the front, straight behind the 5:20 pacer. He's not messing about. And boy, don't he look good, don't he look controlled. He looks like he's out there on a Sunday afternoon tempo, but he's currently going along at about 3 minutes 20 per kilometre. If this boy did more consistent training, D Mills and I would be in big trouble. He's even had to just shorten his stride length a little bit there because he's feeling so good. Doesn't want to fly past the 5:20 pacer, although that would be some very whiffy banter. Coming down the home straight now, approaching the end of the first lap, and he's looking very strong, looking very focused. And let's see what he's going to put in on this first lap. He's gone through in 78 seconds. That is not much slower than D Mills did. And he's on pace for about a 5 minutes 17 mile. Can he pull this off? He's only 3 seconds off what D Mills pulled off. Now that would be one of the most remarkable feats in running. Forget sub-2 marathons. If W Mills managed to beat D Mills, oof, it would be one for the history books. Moving along the back straight here, he's losing ever so slightly touch with the pacer, but he's still got a really large gap on second place and the chase pack. Though around the second bend of lap 2, the chase pack are looming on my little brother. Let's see if we can keep an eye out on his form as he comes past to try and work out how he's feeling. He's looking all right. He doesn't give away much, this lad, but his lead has eroded very quickly, and now there is a group of 4 hot on his heels. What's he going to go through lap 2 in? It's an 83-second lap. That is 5 seconds slower. He did go through in 2 minutes 41. If you double that, it's very close to a 5 minutes 20. But the lead girl says, you are spent, kid. The second girl says, you are spent, kid. They are all coming through, and he's looking absolutely gone. He's got to dig deep now and try and stay with that pack, because the pack further back are going to get on him quickly if he doesn't. But look at his stride length. It's gone from 1 metre 60 to about 40 centimetres. The poor lad. The mile has hit him, and hit him hard. He's in 5th position now, and the next pack are chasing him down thick and fast. I believe he was questioning why exactly he does this running thing at this point. Oh, beautiful lactic acid. How we love you. And as our camera tries to focus with that intense sunshine, I think when we come out of it, he's lost another 3 positions. I shouldn't laugh as I've still got my race to come, but just funny, isn't it? And approaching the end of lap 3, and we've got a poor W Mills in 8th place, a little grin on his face as he comes through. He's fallen from 1st to 8th, no 9th place in just 1 lap. And what is the speed of this lap? It's an 89-second third lap. How the mighty has fallen. That's more like 6-minute mile pace. He's turned into our good mate, Mikey Lockwood. Where is he? There he is. Look at his form compared to the others at this point. The lactic is absolutely drowning his muscles. I'm not sure he's got a 70-second final lap here to get that 5 minutes 20. Do you?
First to last challenge.
Oh, D Mills, you evil sack of shit. Come over and saying it's the first to last challenge. Not sure that's far off, as he's being gobbled up, and once this runner absolutely flies past him, I think there's only 3 people left. But W Mills will not finish last today. He musters up somewhat of a sprint finish here to make sure those 3 runners behind him can't get him. And he comes home in a 5 minutes and 42 seconds. A tough old day out there for W Mills. 11th position. And actually, there was only 2 runners behind him. But boy, oh boy, it was a brave race. He went out at a very demanding speed and paid the price. But here is some inspirational words from the man himself. And I think we should probably drop a like and subscribe for that. But there is no time to rest as we are away. The under-15s and 17s Olympics has begun. And I'm setting off at the back of this pack because I know they are all bloody rapid. And what a beautiful evening it is to run until your lungs come out your throat. The pacer was meant to be doing 4 minutes 45 mile here, and I know he'd been a little bit quick at times, so he'd probably go off at about 4:40. So I knew initially that I just felt a little bit quick, so I just eased back and let this pack get on with it. Bye-bye. But I very quickly regretted that, as when I came across 200 metres in 39 seconds, I was 3 seconds off what I needed to at that point. So then I had to try and speed up ever so slightly to make up for it in the next 200 metres. But as you can see, I lost 5 or 6 metres to the pack ahead, and I didn't want to surge to catch the back of them because I knew that would not end well. First track race, and I'd been an absolute moron within 150 metres. It's a fantastic effort. And I've come through the first lap here in sort of 1:15 high, 1:16, which is about 5 minutes 7, 5 minute 8 mile pace. And I now just needed to try and make sure this gap didn't get any bigger, but that was going to be tough just running along by myself. I was going to have to maybe put lap 3 effort, what I wanted to do, on lap 2. A long, long way to go. Why didn't I just stay with the bloody pack? And I had managed to get up to about 3 minute flat pace, which is 4:50 mile pace, but the pack was ever so slightly getting away from me still, and it felt quite demoralising. All I could do was try and keep turning over at this speed and hope my body didn't let me down. And as I came through 800 metres in 2 minutes 31, I was on for just over 5 minute pace, definitely off of 4 minutes 50. I could see Ant just ahead of me. One of my Strava buddies was falling off the pack as well, and I was just trying to make sure the gap to him didn't grow as the gap to the main pack that were on for that 4 minutes 50 or so was getting further and further away. And cutting to the end of the third lap, I'd maybe just about kept that gap the same to Ant ahead, but I think we'd both slowed, to be honest. As I get a massive cheer from someone to the right, which definitely spurred me on to dig that little bit deeper. And I come across the line in 3 minutes 50, a 79-second third lap, and I've got 4 seconds to try and make up to not come last on this final lap. I had vague hopes of managing to go sub 70 for this final lap to dip under 5 minute miles, and I was slowly catching him, but that initial bit of adrenaline from that cheering wasn't quite enough to get me really to dip below into the 2s at this point, which is what I needed. I needed more fans on the right cheering my name. 250 metres to go, and I was trying to just see if I could save any slight bit of energy while not losing any ground to just try and make sure I could mount a final assault, but there wasn't honestly much left in the kitty. But you can see I was still catching him. Let's give it absolutely everything, J Mills. My whole body is burning. Can I get there? I've dipped into the 2s, but Ant's had a little bit of a burst, and I'm going to have to come home in last position with a 5 minutes and 5 seconds. And there I am, P12, a 5 minutes 5, but technically 3 people didn't start, so was I last? Yeah, I was last. 15 seconds off my aim, which is a shame. In the middle of marathon training a couple of months ago, I had managed a 5 minute 1 second running around my local park in some fairly heavy Hoka Celio X1s, and I'd done some specific training for this in the last few weeks, so I thought a 450 on the track I'd have a good shot at, but it wasn't to be. A bit of inexperience around the track. I think a big thing is when I'm running around on the roads or around the park, My GPS is fairly accurate and I can sort of heavily rely on if I'm falling off this pace, I can just pick it up ever so slightly. Round a track, you really just have to sort of pace yourself every 200 metres or so, and I didn't do a very good job of that. In hindsight, I probably should have gone in the race before where the pacer was going a little bit slower, but you live and learn. Big question of the day is who won of the brothers? Well, I had the quickest time, but it was a long way off my goal speed. Damo was fairly close to his goal speed, but was slower than me overall, and W Mills won the Big Balls Award. So really, we're all winners. Thanks for watching everyone, I'll see you again soon.